Hi Twitch, hi YouTube, wherever you guys are seeing me from. This is my Final Fantasy 101 series and video. Long overdue. I was supposed to make this video like 5 months ago, but I had started working and I haven't really had a chance. Well, I haven't been subbed since then. I stopped playing, and I haven't really had a chance to be here where I am now at my mother's house to really have a good streaming setup to kind of do anything, so I apologize for that. Without further ado, let's get into it. In this Final Fantasy 11 101 series, which is what I'm going to call it, we're going to go over some beginner terminology. I bought a new content ID so we can create a character together, and I can kind of show you the beginning process and what to expect. Just starting out now, I'm gonna let you guys know this is not scripted. I don't have a script or anything. We're just gonna kind of do this live. I'm gonna show you a little bit of the beginning, and then we're just gonna go over some stuff, and that's gonna be the end of the video. Excuse me, I'm sick. Really quickly, we're gonna go over subjobs, conquest points, the quest section, and the Rhapsody of Vana'diel stuff, which is in the quest section, skill chains and weapon skills and magic bursts, trusts, home points, survival guides, ground tomes, level sync and making parties, and party commands. So let's just jump right into it. So, no matter what you want to make, it doesn't really matter anymore. One of the cool things they kind of fixed about the game was that you can pretty much make whatever you want, to play whatever you want. It was not like that a long time ago, before it actually mattered what race you picked, because depending on what race you were, you had a lot of shortcomings because you didn't get such huge boosts in stats like you do nowadays. So that's one thing there is to consider when you first start the game. If you've never played before, pick whatever race you want. Pick the one that speaks to you the most, one that is aesthetically pleasing for you, and the one that you enjoy the most. Personally, my favorite race has always been Taru. But for the sake of the video, we're gonna pick something else. I'm gonna go Galka, because I also really like Galkas. And instead of doing a Sandoria start, we're going to do a Bastok start. If he would stop pounding the ground so I could see his face. There we go. This one is always my favorite. We'll take this one. We'll make him small instead of making him large. So as for your starting class, you can pretty much start as whatever you want. You need to get to level 30 to unlock any advanced jobs. These are what you start with out of the 22 jobs you get in the game. They're all pretty much still relevant with the exception of Monk. Monk kind of falls behind at the end game content of partying with other people. When you're doing pickup groups, more than likely you're really not going to see a monk. So if you want to play one, by all means, go for it. Everything is pretty much playable nowadays. But just remember, if you're doing a pickup group, which is just playing with random people, they're probably not going to want to take you along. If you want to play something more niche, it's going to be better for you to grab a link shell. And I guess I'll add that to my video as well. We'll explain what link shells are. So let's get right into it. What are we gonna pick? I guess I'll pick Monk. Why the fuck not? So we're gonna name him Yeti 101. Since that's the name of the video, we're gonna go on Asura. So just another heads up, if you guys are starting to play the game, there are two big servers, Asura and Odin right now are kind of the two biggest servers. Asura has most of the English speakers, where you'll see people online at like NA prime times, and you'll see a lot of English speakers, whereas Odin is going to have a lot of the Japanese speakers, but it's going to be just as bustling as Asura. However, it's going to be more around Japanese prime time, so depending on like what your play style is like, or rather when you guys are playing throughout the day, I guess you can make a choice on that. If you want to play with me, I play on Asura, and that's probably where I'll stay, just due to the population, to be honest. So, like I said, this time I'm gonna pick Bastok. Just so you guys know, most people start in Sandoria. It's like the easier place to kind of get to everything. It's a little bit easier going from place to place. That's where most people start. A lot of people don't really start at Windurst, but more than likely, since the game is so top heavy, most people have done all three nations. Once you get to like whatever rank, you can switch your nation and level up that nation as well. So one of the biggest reasons I wanted to make a new content ID, so that I can show you guys the quest section. On my 99, I've already finished the quest section, so I can't really show you where to go and what to do, and how those sorts of things work. So after this beginning cutscene, we'll kind of get into things, and then a little bit after, I'll go into I'll log on my 99 so I can show you a few things like trusts and whatnot. Fuck, I forgot about this cutscene. Strap in, boys. Cutscene time. If you're wondering about like the numbers up here and the little window, and you don't know anything about Final Fantasy XI, I am using a third-party launcher called Windower, which allows you to put add-ons in the game. And so that's where this mini-map comes from. That's where this XP, LP, XP per hour comes from. You can add other things to it as you see fit. Maybe in my next video, I'll go over Windower and why I think it's important. So I'm just gonna skip through most of this. Besides, my camera's kind of blocking it anyways. I didn't realize my camera was gonna be blocking it. I didn't change my camera to where I normally have it when I play Final Fantasy XI. So this guy tells you right away where you can go turn in your adventurer's coupon. So we're gonna do that too. We're gonna go turn in our adventurer's coupon. So here we are, right? Markers, you're gonna go to the right. So he marked it on the map for us already. So we know that if we go all the way down, and we like kind of close that out, the chat box out, we can see that, go to markers, this guy is in J8. Not sure why my controller is not working there. At least for like menu moving. It's working for other stuff. There we go. Alright, at this point I've gone too far. I apologize. I went across the bridge. I wasn't supposed to. Just give me a little bit of a break here, guys. I haven't played in... Well, I haven't started in Bastock in a very long time. So we're looking here. Here he is, Dulce, or here she is. So the way this works, in anything in this game where they say you have to give something to someone, it's not like other games where you can kind of click on them and then it'll ask you to give them to them. You actually have to go and trade it to them. So first you'll have to highlight the person like so. Then you'll go into your options menu. So it'll be either X on your controller, or if you're using keyboard, it'll be minus right next to the T equals, right, your dash. If you're playing with a PS4 controller, it'll be square. And then you'll go down to trade, right, and you'll select, and you'll go and select the adventurous coupon. So there you go. Your adventurous coupon is good for like about 50 gil. It really doesn't give you much of anything. But it is nice to get rid of it so that you don't take up inventory space. So as you can see, starting off, they really don't hold your hand much, and you just kind of have to figure things out on your own, which was one of the appeals of the game to me when I was younger, and even now to this day. So what we're going to do is you're going to open up your menu, you're going to go to the right, and so the first thing I'm going to discuss with you guys is the quest section. Right, you're going to go into quests, current completed, current objective list, and you can see you have sparks, unity, accolades, and the number of completed quests. So we want to get started on our records of eminence almost right away, because they're going to be very important. So you're going to go into the quest menu, you're going to go down to the objective list, right, and you're going to go into the tutorial and basics. You're only going to have two things, tutorial and other. You're going to go into tutorial, you're going to go into basics, and you're going to do everything here, right? Now as you do this, you're going to get experience, bonus experience rather, I should say, and you're going to get sparks. Now sparks can be traded to a sparks vendor, and I'm not sure where that vendor is here in this city. And when you trade it to that sparks vendor, you're able to buy various amounts of gear. So you can buy armor, weapons, and even items for that appropriate level, right? So this is going to be very, very, very important. Because as you continue to progress through the game, you're going to need sparks. Sparks is going to be like your first easiest source of income, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. There are certain days where there are bonus objectives, and the best day for the bonus objectives will be the day that gives you bonus EXP. At which point, you can just go out and kill things, and that's it. That's all you have to do. It like continuously updates and continuously grabs any bonus objective after you complete the tutorial. So we're gonna log out this character here. Or actually, before I do that, let's talk about a few other things. So here, back into the menu, into status, into job levels. As you can see, I only have the 6 jobs. I don't have anything else. And if I want other jobs, I have to work hard for them. You can't unlock any of the other jobs until you hit level 30. And then there's an appropriate quest for every job. Certain jobs require you to kind of get into certain expansions. So like, for example, Dancer is a really good sub job for a numerous amount of reasons, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to talk about. Just for example, that job, and talking about expansions, you have to do a Wings of a Goddess mission to go back into the past, and when you get into the past, that's where you can go to unlock the Dancer. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about sub jobs now, and like why they're important and what they are. So in Final Fantasy XI, you have your main job and your sub job. There are 2 ways of unlocking a sub job. There is a very old sub job quest, which you can get. I apologize in advance for all the uhs and ums. You can get them if you start in Bastok or Sandoria. You'll take the quest in Selbina. If you start in Windurst, you're going to take the quest, I believe, in Mura, which is like right next to Saruta Baruta. This is like basically the starting area, right? You have to be level 15 in order to take your sub job quest. Those quests give you items. Those quests give you items, or rather, those quests want you to grab items, rare items from monsters. And once you get those rare items, you turn those items in, and you unlock the sub job. The sub job makes a huge difference because your sub job or your support job adds a lot of utility to whatever you're currently playing. So for example, let's say I'm playing Black Mage. I'm going to want my sub job to be Red Mage, because Red Mage is going to give me access to things like Fast Cast, Refresh, which is going to increase my MP. And there are going to be better sub jobs and worse sub jobs. Every job that you would want to main will have kind of general sub jobs and more niche sub jobs, because there are certain support jobs that do very specific things and only work for certain situations. So the other way you can unlock the sub jobs is by I apologize. I had this open before. The other way you can unlock the sub jobs is by doing the Rhapsody of Vanadil missions, which was the last add-on, I guess, kind of mini expansion they added. It was a free expansion basically for everybody that kind of meshes all the storylines together. And as you do the Rhapsody of Vanadil missions, you have to unlock certain parts of the actual storylines for certain expansions in order to further your progress. You're really going to want to do these Rhapsody of Vanadil missions because they're going to be very important to you. Those can be accessed in the quest area, right? You're going to come in here, objective list. After you do your tutorial, you're going to start getting the Rhapsody of Vanadil missions that you can start in the quest list. I would suggest to do it this way, just because you want to be doing the Rhapsody of Vanadil missions anyway. So once you get up to Rhapsody of Vanadil mission 1-4, or it's also called Set Free, without a sub job, you'll receive the Gilgamesh's introductory letter, and once you do that, I believe you can turn in that letter to like Gilgamesh or somebody to unlock the sub jobs. When you do it this way, you only have to be level 3 or plus, and then also the sub job is always going to be half of whatever your level is, so keep that in mind. You're not going to get the full benefit of having that as a job. So if you leveled something all the way to 99, just because you really like that job and you're like, oh, I thought this would be a nice support for this job, it's not necessarily going to work out that way because it caps at 49 at max level. Speaking of levels, if you've never played this game before, and keep in mind that this video is completely geared towards beginners and people who are just playing the game for the first time, there are limit break quests. When the game first launched on its debut, its max level was 50, and they increased it by increments of 5 throughout the years. So once you hit 50, you'll be capped and you won't be able to get higher or progress higher than that. You'll want to go and do the limit break quest, and once you do the limit break quest, now you'll have 5 more levels to play with, and you'll have to keep doing that. You'll get in kind of the swing of those things. So those are sub jobs. That's why they're important. That's your leveling, and that's what you're going to do. So now I'm going to get on my other character that kind of has a lot of things unlocked, so I can kind of show you a little bit more of like what everything is and how everything is. This way we can go over kind of the other stuff that I wanted to go over in this video. So the next thing we're going to go over is conquest points. I don't really think there's any lore behind conquest points, at least as far as I'm aware of. Pretty much every company is campaigning. I mean, not every company. Every nation, every starting nation is campaigning. When you put on the conquest signet, you contribute towards that campaign. As that campaign grows, one of those 3 starting nations are going to have higher conquest points. This is going to turn into you being able to receive more benefits. Like, you'll get more conquest points when your tribe, sorry, not tribe, when your starting nation has the conquest points beat in whatever area. I'm sorry if I'm not really explaining that well, but basically what it is a buff, and this buff allows you to kill things as long as you have that buff on you and accumulate what are called conquest points. Now these are just kind of miscellaneous points that you can use on various things. The first thing I suggest that you pick up, the first thing I believe you should invest towards, is what it's called an Emperor Band, right? I'm going to show you what that is in my inventory right now. I should have it somewhere in my inventory. This Emperor Band right here. As you can see here, the experience point bonus is plus 50% for a maximum of 720 minutes, giving you a bonus of 30,000 experience, and it has 3 out of 3. What does that mean? That means it has 3 charges. This can be recharged once a week, every week. So if you haven't played for a while, and I use all 3 charges now, then I can recharge for 6 times the amount of bonus experience, and this is going to make your life a lot easier in terms of leveling. It's going to make that level grind a lot better. It's going to make those early levels feel not as long. It's going to make those later levels go by a little bit faster. It's just overall a really good thing to have. So if you're here in South Sandoria, which as you can see is a bit of a hub for people, you're going to see this person on the left, Avarog TK. He is the conquest point person. You're going to click on him, right? He's going to say, I am one of the guards charged with overseeing Sandoria's conquest campaign. You'll pick the first thing that's there, which says, would you like to cast Signet on me? And I'll move my camera so that you can see this. Would you like to cast Signet on me? And then you'll just kind of hit it and he'll cast Signet on you. And then you'll see at the top, you'll get a buff. It says you are recognized as an official participant in your nation's conquest campaign. Now once you have this on, you can just kind of absent-mindedly forget about it. The buff lasts a very long time before you have to kind of come back and do anything else towards it. And you're just going to use that to mainly get your Emperor band. However, there are other things you can get, like temporary items. So you'll come back to Avarog, or Aravogi, however his name is pronounced. And you'll speak to him, and you'll say, I want to spend my conquest points. And now in here you're going to have quite a few categories. You're going to have common items, you're going to have 1,000 point items, 2,000 point items, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, 24,000, 32,000, 40,000, 48,000, 56,000, so on and so forth, right? So now I believe it's in rank 3, but I could be wrong. It's been a while. So I'm gonna find it for you guys so that you guys don't have to go all over the place looking for it. I think it might be in common items. So I would like to spend my conquest points. As you can see there, I have what, 358,000. You get them very quickly. Alright, so here there are two things you want to get. The Emperor Band, which costs 2,000 points, and the Warp Ring, which costs 5,000 points. So you're going to want to spend your first 7,000 points on these two items. You're not going to really want to spend your points on anything else. However, if you have a few points, you can get a Scroll of Instant Re-Raise or a Scroll of Instant Warp. Those are really good too. You can just kind of throw on your re-raise, and as you go out into the world, if you die, you'll come right back. So that's a pretty good thing. Scroll of Instant Warp, it just lets you warp. What warping does, it'll take you back to your home point, and home points can be set through these home point crystals. Now, before in the game, you had to travel ridiculously long and far from place to place and place to place and place to place, and this made traveling in Final Fantasy XI kind of a pain. Updates have been made. I'm not sure when they made these updates. Maybe in like 2012 or 2014 or something like that, maybe even earlier. You can now warp through these home points. So whenever you see these home point crystals anywhere on your map, go up to the home point, click the home point. It'll tell you that you are registered to the home point. once you see that you're registered to the home point, that's all you need. You can exit out, and if you're like me and you're paranoid, you can click the home point again. If it doesn't give you that same message, you're registered to the home point, you can now warp to that home point from any other home point. This is why these things are important. You will be able to see these home points on your map as you're playing through the game. You will see the home points on your map. You see the crystals on my map. There are 4 crystals right now on my map. Right? And so that is the importance of home points, and that's what you want to do with conquest points. Now, back to the quest section.